Hello and welcome back to the 13th Sign podcast. It's been a very long time. We've missed you very dearly.
Yep. It's been a while. I can't even remember how to talk.
Yeah. Elise and I have just gone on a coffee run and we're like, you know what, we hardly get any time to sit down in our studio and record an episode. So we're just actually recording in the Swift.
Yeah, we're recording in my car in the car park of Zarafas.
Astrology abroad. That's the theme of this week's episode.
Yeah, we thought we'd do an impromptu Halloween episode just for fun.
After Halloween. This probably won't come up until November.
I'm going to try, okay? I'm still editing the previous episode. It's been a long one. We talked a lot of bullshit, so I had to do a lot of editing, all right?
Yeah. You might not know this, but the amount of bullshit you have to listen to me say gets cut down at least by a third.
Oh, yeah, literally.
I don't know about you guys, but the previous Pisces moon in Scorpio, it was my birthday.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone say happy birthday to Billy.
I just had my solar return.
Yes.
But yeah, the Pisces moon in Scorpio somehow just hit me way too hard.
Wait, we can announce it now, can't we?
Oh, yes.
Guys, there's a very exciting announcement.
I'm having an Aries.
Supposedly. We don't know if it's going to be actually an Aries or Pisces.
Or Taurus. Depends on how long it wants to stay in the oven.
Yes, so we'll see how that goes. But yes, she is with child.
Yes. So
I hate that saying.
I like this
child.
Because I had to tell the people that I work with that I'm pregnant, and I'm like, how do you say you're pregnant without being like, I'm Billy, I'm pregnant, nice to meet you, or what words can you use to say, like, saying I'm having an Aries sounds the least
a bit much.
Oh, I thought it was...
I mean, an Aries is a lot, so I mean, yeah, no one says I'm with child anymore. That's
but like I'm expecting. I feel like people are like, are you expecting a promotion? Like,
you're just like, I'm having a baby. I'm not just bloated today. There is a small avocado size child.
You know the best compliment I ever had?
What?
I said that I told everyone at work that I was pregnant and they're like, oh, you must be very early.
You're like, oh,
I was like, really?
Really? I'm 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. I'm not.
So what are you now, 14?
I'm 4 months tomorrow. I know. Remember when I told you I was like 3 weeks?
I know. That was a crazy, crazy time. I cried on the stairs to my apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a beautiful time. I know. It's so wild. It's like I've come to terms with it, but still I'm just like, I just think you're going to be pregnant forever and not actually have a legit child.
If I was pregnant forever.
Oh, God, that would be the worst.
I don't... Guys, don't listen to what the media tells you. That pregnancy is awesome and amazing and a miracle. Like, yes, it is. But, like, I know that it's not a miracle. I know it's, like, a lot of hard freaking work. And, like, you feel like shit the entire time. I'll probably edit that out, Elise. I don't want
No, we want the world to know the truth.
Yeah, so that's why our episodes have kind of died, because we've had a lot going on.
Yeah, I've moved to the other side of the planet.
Yeah,
Just the other side of the city, really, but still.
I've made very good friends with my doctors in the hospital.
Yeah. So it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy time. Astrologically, there's been a lot going on.
It's been very exhausting.
We've had like Mars retrograde, which was happening before the last episode we put up, but we didn't really talk about it too much. We've had Mercury retrograde, which
it's almost over. Mercury retrograde's only got 5, 6 days left.
Well, you don't say that.
Well, it depends when
it ends on
actually goes.
It ends on the 4th of November.
Yeah,
but we've had a lot going on. Obviously, we've had Scorpio season, which is the best time of the year.
I do love Scorpio season.
Yeah.
It's
such a vibe. Like, I feel like Scorpio season, you're like, yeah, I really feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in Australia it kind of sucks because we don't, although I'm always like, it sucks because our Halloween isn't like crazy Halloween like America. But then I'm like, well, we kind of got the best of both worlds because we have autumn in autumn, obviously, and then we have Halloween. So it's like we get both, but different. Like,
yeah, I feel like it's kind of better because then when we have actual autumn and like that full vibe with that color scheme of wardrobe and stuff, you're not surrounded by the tacky like $2 shop other stuff. So it's like a lot more like earthy.
Definitely.
Whereas Halloween, you can just like, it's like tacky, but it's like spooky.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about being cold.
Yeah, true. Although,
so you can wear the sluttiest outfit you want.
Australia isn't that cold in autumn anyways. But anyways, I can sometimes wear a jumper. It's very exciting. Or a sweater. Sorry,
a sweater. Do you have any scary stories you want to...
I do, but I just want to preface before we start getting into it, because I know I'm going to forget. I think I meant to say it on the last episode, but I don't think we got around to it. Sometimes we do weird accents and we don't really... So we are Australian, if you have randomly found this podcast.
We're
and
not
you're like,
Kath
what
and Kim.
type of accent are they doing? Sometimes we do weird, like, New Zealander / Australian accents, or like...
Kiwi. I just fall into my native tongue.
I think sometimes it comes off as British too.
Sometimes it just comes off as fucking annoying.
Yeah, it just happens when we get together.
I think it's just because we're both very Scorpio, so it's like if we're talking about things that make us uncomfortable, it's like we just talk in another voice, so that it's like not like I'm actually saying it.
That makes so much more sense, because I definitely always put on a weird accent when I have to talk about serious things.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you know what happened to me the other day?
I had a mental breakdown. It was fun. I had a great time after. Literally though. Oh my god, we've cracked the code. We don't need a psychologist.
I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I'll say it anyway.
Okay, go for it.
So I really need to see a psychologist.
Me too. I was literally Googling psychologists today.
But I'm too scared to go to one because I think that might be my anxiety, but I feel like if I go to a psychologist, they're going to steal my baby.
Why? Because they'll be like, this bitch is crazy.
Well, because so I had to do like a mental assessment with my midwives, and so obviously I lied to all of the questions because I was just scared that they would
They have to assess you and be like, is this...
They want to come over to my house and assess my house, and I'm like, my house is not baby safe at the moment.
I'll just come over and clean before you...
Oh, no, but like...
And take your dogs.
I live in an apartment.
Yeah.
A kid could fall off the balcony.
I suppose.
Like, I'm gonna move out before the baby comes, but I feel like it's very, very stressful time.
I mean, you have to child safe every...
little thing.
Yeah. Even if it's an apartment.
My coffee table? Elise made me buy a coffee table, so now I have to baby safe.
I made her buy a coffee table. I redecorated her room.
Yeah, she wanted me to have an aesthetic.
Yes.
Or, to be fair, you just wanted me to have a living room.
Yeah, I literally, before, she lived in this place for so fucking long, and it's literally, all it had was dog beds. Like, that was the only thing in the living room. They even moved the TV because they moved it into their bedroom. But like,
because I didn't like to sit on the dog beds because they smelled.
Oh yeah, and they didn't even have a couch. They had a couch for a bit, but then it became the dog couch, and then it was just an outside couch.
Yeah, then we moved it outside so that people didn't think that they could sit on it.
Yeah, because like, you don't want to sit on it.
But yeah, do you have any spooky stories you want to tell?
Well, I have many ghost stories, and I don't know, we've never talked about this, but do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Okay, but how much of you believes in ghosts?
Like, I would prefer to say that I don't believe in ghosts just so that I wasn't as scared of ghosts as I am.
Okay. I don't. However, I have literally had experiences with ghosts multiple times, but I'm still like, I'm pretty sure that was just a trick of the light. So yeah,
But honestly, nothing phases you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just don't believe my own eyes, and I'm like, oh, that was probably just my brain being stupid. I don't know. Yeah. So I used to live not in a haunted house, but next to a haunted house. And so my first experience, there's many of them, so I'll try and be kind of brief. Yeah. So my first experience with the ghost was when I was about 7. I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a legit, and I'm not talking about ghosts as in like looks like a person.
You're talking more about spirits.
I'm talking about if you draw a ghost when you're like 5 years old, you're like, like it's like doesn't have any legs. It's like that vibe. Anyway, so this is literally what I saw in my doorway when I woke up in the middle of the night randomly. This weird ghost in my doorway, and I could see through it, and I could see like through into my living room, because we would always keep a light on, just, you know, like a toilet light. But yeah, we lived in a new sort of like a little cottage, and so I was like, how the fuck do I get a ghost here when like usually it's like in old houses and blah blah blah. Anyways, I thought I was just crazy. So anyways, I wake up in the middle of the night and there's this apparition in my doorway, and I'm like, kind of scary, but I'm not super scared. So I just call for my mum. I used to do this thing where I would just get into like a ball when I was scared.
Fetal position.
Yeah, like the fetal position. And I just called for my mom, and I was like, Mom! And then I got into that position, and I kid you not, like, it's still as clear as day. I felt pressure on my back. And I thought that the pressure was my mom being like, are you okay? And I look, nothing's there. It's gone. And then so I scream some more, and then finally mum comes in being like, what the fuck? Yeah, so that was my first experience. And I used to see this little boy all the time, like in my peripheral vision. I'd be watching TV or whatever, and I'd just see this little boy run past my side view, and then I'd look and he wouldn't be there. This is in the same house. Anyways, I continually just thought I was crazy, didn't really talk about it until years and years later. And then my mum fucking tells me when I'm like 16 years old, when I like tell her what happened in that house, because obviously she knew because I told her when I was a kid. But then she finally thinks I'm old enough for her to tell me. And she's like, yeah, I saw about 2 or 3 different ghosts in that house. And I was like, Mum, why didn't you ever tell me? And she's like, I didn't want to worry you, like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so basically she had 2 experiences in that house. One where she woke up in the middle of the night and there was 2 men sitting at the end of her bed. One of them she thought was my dad. Like he used to go on like work trips up to the Gold Coast, so he definitely was not there. But yeah, mum woke up and saw these 2 people at the end of her bed, and she wasn't scared because she was going through a lot of like spiritual things at that point in time, and like healing, and then there was another time, I hope I'm telling this right, I hope mum's listening and she's probably like, that's incorrect or whatever, I'm mixing the 2 stories, but and then there was another time where she woke up and there was like someone like literal hands over her, but that was the healing thing as well. Yeah, I think I might be getting something
Because maybe they were trying to like comfort you when they were patting you on the back.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel like I was shocked, but I wasn't threatened. Once again, years later, when I was 15, 16, so my neighbour who lived in this
Haunted house.
big ass house, she was also my hairdresser. So I was getting my hair done by her this one time. I think she was telling me about a ghost situation that was happening at her work. Anyways, and then I was like, oh, like that reminds me, like, has anything weird happened in your house? Because this is what happened to me. And she was like, oh, yeah, so by the way, her sister-in-law is a psychic, and when she came into the house, she said she could feel that it used to be some sort of hospital or orphanage, and that when she walked into their bedroom, it used to be 10 times bigger, and it had this porch that wrapped around the house, right? So she would walk into the main bedroom, and then she said she could see this older lady in a rocking chair, and then all these kids playing outside on the porch. Yeah, basically where the porch was is where our house was. So then I was like, what the fuck to everyone, because I was like, why the freak have I lived in this house for so long? No one's told me anything. Like, yeah, I get I was a kid, but also I just thought I was crazy for the longest time. But yeah, that was the stuff that happened in that house. And then when I was sort of at the start of high school, I saw a few like different things at my school. Just like one apparition next to this girl that I found out later had recently lost her father. And then same sort of situation, another girl had lost her partner, but I would just see like a shadowy figure walking with her all the time. So yeah, that was the main ones. I've seen random things throughout the years. I'm probably forgetting like 12, but those are the main ones. Have you had any fun experiences? I feel like you would have had at least one. You're a Scorpio. That's like mandatory.
I think my Gemini moon blocks me from having an emotional attachment to it because I just logic myself out of it. I'll like see something happen and then I'll be like, no, it was this and this happening that caused it. Like, as much as I say I like believe in it all, I'm like, I believe in it for other people, but for myself I'm like 100% a skeptic, you know?
Me too. I'm definitely a skeptic. Like, people would assume that I 100% believe in astrology, or like 100% believe in witchcraft, or like anything like that, because like I guess I'm like super into it. I practice it, like I talk about it, like I love the shit out of it. But if you
love it more than me.
Do I?
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh, thank you. You love politics. I love
You make me sound so boring.
No, that's so smart. That sounds so smart. She likes politics. I like witchcraft. Okay, let's see who's the smart one here. Yeah, so like you'd think I 100% believe in that, believe in all the woo-woo stuff. But if you were to ask me whether I would like bet my life on it, don't know if I would, you know?
Oh, yeah, like I think for me it's just like, I think why I can be like, I invest so much time in astrology and stuff is because I love like witchcraft and like all of that stuff, but like again with my Gemini side, it just like I can't make sense of how that happens. Whereas for me, if you just look at the most basic level of science, which is like energy can't be created nor destroyed, it just transfers. To me, like applying that, like, and that's like been like the one thing that like, because you don't know anything with life, like you don't know what's going to happen whenever, but for me that's always been something that's like been able to calm my mind. Like whenever I'm having a mental breakdown, I'll be like, look, energy can't be created nor destroyed, it just transfers.
Yeah,
which is such a Gemini thing to find comfort in. But anyway, so for me, astrology completely ticks all of those boxes because that's literally all it is just different energies impacting other things and you being like a receptor of that energy and picking up on it. So like it makes 100% sense to me and I can understand it. And I guess like with a lot of witchcraft, like I get the witchcraft that's like you literally just putting out energy, putting your intentions into like something physical, but to me that doesn't, I struggle with that more to be like 100% I believe that.
Yeah.
Rather than just like setting positive intentions out into the world and like all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Still find it very, very interesting. Still like believe it and like believe that it 100% works for people, but it's just harder for me to personally process it.
I feel like astrology is the first thing that I could probably believe in more than anything else because I've always been the type of person that I'm like, okay, I'll believe you, I'm open to it, but like I want you to prove it to me. With astrology, it's like I didn't believe in astrology until I saw proof. Can like do research. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I
completely agree because I think it's like astrology often gets compared to religion. And people, when we were like developing, we chose Christianity, like we chose the church. So then all of like astrology was seen as like bad. Yeah, and like was kind of all of that knowledge got kind of lost. And I think where I struggle with religion, I don't with astrology because it's like if I say prove it to me, like to anyone, they're not going to tell me something that an old man said or tell me something that someone else said. They'll just be like, okay, well, look at these patterns. we can clearly see that this is a pattern that's reoccurring. Like, the patterns still exist. I think that that's why I can, like, believe it more, is because I don't need anyone, like, I don't need anyone to tell me.
Yeah.
I can see those patterns. Like, if I really, really wanted to, just, like, not look at anyone else's research and try and figure it out 100% on my own.
Mhm.
Like, I think you could. Like, even how, like, we were looking up heaps of different serial killers' birth charts, and, like, how excited I was when we found that a lot of, like, sexually
Fucked up.
no, but, like,
Sexually
motivated.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
motivated.
yeah, sexually
yeah.
motivated serial killers, majority of them have their Venus in the 12th house, and particularly in Scorpio, which, like, makes so much
literal.
sense.
Yeah, like
So much sense when you see, like, when you say it, but, like, it was just so wild because we just kept on, because I can just rattle off serial killers' names till the cows come home, but I was getting Elise to, look up this person. Oh my god, they've got a oh my god, look up this person.
Looked up so
many. Anyone from the butcher to Ted Bundy, and they all had, like, even the toy box killer, like, so many.
And it was just an experiment. Like, that's what it's usually.
Yeah,
it starts off, and it's like, oh, let's just check this one, and then we're like, oh no way, it is, and then you check another one. Oh my god, it is. Like,
and then it's like, oh my god, my dad's a 12th house Venus Scorpio.
Is he okay?
Is he okay? Am I suddenly terrified of my dad? Can I turn him into the police off of a hunch? Obviously, it's not just that aspect. It's like the nurture and, like, the other aspect. Because one of my partner's, like, best friends, his Venus is in Scorpio in the 12th house. I know he's not a serial killer, but, like, sexually,
that you know of.
Yeah, hopefully. But, like, as far as I know his sexual side without knowing it, it still makes sense. It's just he hasn't been put in a situation where his only way to satisfy that is through killing people.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad.
It's less of an extreme, so that's great for his parents. Well done with not letting him be a serial killer.
So it was really nice to then again know that not everything is 100% finite either.
It's like, it's not like a one and done, like, oh, if you have this, like, you're going to be a serial killer. If you have this, you're a liar. Like, it's just, like, it is patterns, but also, like we say all the time, it's 10% nature or whatever, but it's mostly nurture, how you grew up. And that is often reflected in the nature part in the birth chart.
Yeah, because you can see, like, a lot of the nature from, like, your moon to see, like, what, like, you can get it from, like, your moon and Saturn relationships as well and see how that affects it. But I think it's just, like, so interesting when you're able to, like, find out little things that, like, because we listen to, like, a lady in America that talks about serial killers all the time. Oh, well, not serial killers, but
are we talking about killer astrology?
Yeah.
Shout out to Killer Astrology. We love her.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. Very, very factual. Love her to bits. 12th house Venus, Scorpio. Again, I said it in the wrong order. I really don't care. Like, she's never spoken about that before. Like, she always talks about all of the other aspects. And obviously, there's, like, 100 million different reasons
and a lot
why someone's a killer.
Yeah.
But I just found it really interesting that that's something we discovered on our own.
And it's like not validation, but, like,
it makes you feel like you're doing, like, the right thing and that you're, like, you actually understand what you're learning.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're not obviously astrologers, as we've said literally every second of this podcast. But, you know, she is actually an astrologer, and
you can actually book sessions.
You can book a session with her. We're not sponsored. But yeah, so it's good to sort of see that, you know, our research is right, like, we're doing the right thing, and, like, you know, we're seeing patterns that are actually there, and we're not just, like, willy-nilly making them up or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, that pattern is there, like.
And I think, like, if you're getting into astrology, like, the best thing to do is just, like, I literally, like, as soon as I literally do this all the time. I look up every single person's birth chart. if I think about like a celebrity and like I know that their birth chart would be online, or every single, like I listen to so many true crime podcasts every week. I literally look up the birth chart of every single one of them just to be like, is there anything that stands out to me? You want to know something that's like the most obvious thing in the world, and you know this, but David Attenborough's a Pisces.
So precious.
Isn't that just like, doesn't that just make you so happy?
Yeah.
And you don't know something that's going to make you even happier? Bindi Irwin's baby is going to be a Pisces.
That's so sweet. What's Bindi Irwin?
Oh, well,
Let's have a look.
That's a good question. So, Bindi Irwin, I'm actually I'm not surprised at all. Ascendant Aries. So her sun and the moon are in the 5th house, and her ascendant's in the 1st. But that makes so much sense with her, like, going on Dancing with the fucking Stars. Steve Irwin, just really quickly. He's a Pisces.
Oh.
But a Virgo moon. But I did have a question. What's your opinion on past lives?
No, hey. I think I believe in them to an extent where I'm like I don't believe necessarily in, like, reincarnation or anything. I definitely believe in a soul and, like, a soul's journey, and I feel like that is what we see with astrology when we talk about, like, past lives and, like, the generational things and, like South Node and stuff. I don't know if we said this before, but your South Node often reflects to your past lives and the things that you've had to work on in your past life, and then your North Node is the one that you're sort of trying to conquer in this life, I guess. So I believe that in an aspect. I have had weird dreams as well. Like, you know, when you have, you know, just your normal.
Because they say that, like, you remember your past lives between, like, 3 and 6.
Okay.
And when I think back to that time, I was having a lot of dreams of my, like, what I believe is, like, my death. I also had a dream that I was a monkey, so.
Nice. Could have been both.
When I woke up,
what was your past life?
So what I believe was my past life was I was somewhere in a desert in a war, and I was a mother and I had kids, and I was protecting my kids, and someone in the military came in and shot me. And, like, because I would have vivid dreams of that, and I would look and I would see it from other aspects of the room when I would sleep, and then, like, when I'd have different dreams, and my mum couldn't attest to it. She, like, would come into my room, like, all the time, like, doing that. And then I remember when I was, like, a few years older, my brother was like, because my brother and I are 5 years apart, and then my mum's like, oh, I think he's just going through that phase that you went through. And I'm like, maybe it's not a phase. But, like, so this is one thing that freaking terrifies me about having a child, is, like,
the first 6 years, the first 5 years.
No, so there's, like, you can look up, like, things that kids say to their parents. And, like, kids have literally been turned around to their mum and been like, I love my last mum so much more than you.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't know whether I'm ready for this. God. And, like, because I Googled some preemptively, but, like, my 4-year-old told me about the time that she went for a swim in a lake, and she could hear her mum yelling and crying out to her, but she couldn't come because she was under the ducks. Then she remembers falling asleep. When she woke up, I was her new mummy. Like, what? And then, like the kid that was on the news, like, a couple months ago, because he was literally telling details about Princess Diana's death, and he was saying that he was Princess Diana.
Is another story?
It's another thing a little kid said.
Oh, I'll say it.
So, our son is named after a Marine that was killed in action on my husband's last deployment. One day, when he was 3, we drove by the military base where his namesake is buried. And our son said, I'm buried over there in the ground, you know, from when I was fighting the bad guys with Daddy before I was your kid.
Fuck off.
I got little goosebumps everywhere. But, like, what am I going to do? Like, because, you know the psychic teachers? Another great podcast.
Oh, yeah, psychic teachers. I love them so much.
Yeah. like, what made me, like, start going down this rabbit hole is when she was talking about what her daughter said.
Yes, the Zoe thing.
Yes.
That's so sweet.
They've been going for 10 years, so
yeah.
it's pretty hard.
I've literally been listening to them since I was like 17.
You just have to listen to it. You have to listen to all 10
Exactly.
years, because I'm not going to tell you the episode number. I'm not going to leave a link in the
All
description.
2,500.
It was in the last probably 12 episodes that they did.
I think it was in the last like 5 episodes.
Yeah,
it was
I think
very
it was the
recent.
baby one.
Yeah, no, it was a recent one, which I thought was very weird timing. I've read a lot of those things. I've listened to a lot of those different like stories and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't fucking know. It's wild. Like, you hear the accuracy of some of the stories and you're like, that's fair enough for a kid to be like, yeah, so I was this and this and this, and like just say bullshit and like, okay, maybe it's a coincidence that somehow it's formed a story of, but like sometimes it's too accurate and you're just like,
okay,
I don't know.
This one literally chills. My 3-year-old son told me that he smothered someone once. I asked him if he knew what that word meant. He said that it meant holding a pillow over someone's head until they stopped moving. I asked him when he did that, and he said a long, long time ago. Like,
it's like, okay, but you're like, okay, did he see a bit of a movie that he wasn't supposed to? Like, did he hear from one of his friends at preschool? Can his friends at preschool even talk? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Because they also say, like, that it's like birthmarks. Like,
yeah, I have heard that, like wounds and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember when I had this dream. I know I was quite young, but I don't remember specifically my age. I don't think, like, it was under 10. And it's weird because I don't remember, like, I could have been wrong, but I don't remember learning about Native American or anything like that. And like, I feel like sometimes I've thought maybe I have a connection to World War, the Germans and stuff, because I am German. I don't know, like that connection to all that.
Well, because sometimes it can be like previous,
like actual generation. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because my dad felt that way as well. I remember this super, super vivid dream of me as a Native American man being like not maybe just like 18, 20, like not any older than that. And my wife was having a baby in our hut, right? And like we were living in this little village and we had like a sort of like a running stream around the village. And basically we got raided or something, and I was out with either my dad or my uncle or some older man, and we were talking about, you know, what I'd have to do now that I was going to be a father and blah, blah, blah. And we were in the stream trying to like fish and like spear the fish. And then out of nowhere, I don't know who or what, or like who it was, but we got raided and he got shot with an arrow, and then I got shot with an arrow, and I remember bleeding out in the stream and being stressed because my wife was having a baby in the hut and I didn't know A, if I was going to make it back to her, obviously, B, if she was going to get killed. And then that's when I woke up and I'm like, what movie did I watch when I was fucking 5 or 6 years old?
Was that when you were that age?
Well, I don't remember. I remember it was definitely under the age of 10. I don't honestly remember, because sometimes I'm like, oh, Mum, remember when this happened, blah, 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 like thinking I was like 8 years old, but I was actually 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck did I even remember that?
Yeah.
And how did I not remember that I was 3 years old?
But like, I'm just going through like.
But that's the only actual dream that I remember waking up and being like, what the heck? I have never seen any movie like that.
Can you tell me a dream that you had like 3 months ago? Even if it's like the most vivid dream. Like, I can remember parts of dreams that I've had that are like, because I have crazy dreams. But like, I can only tell you like detailed about 2 dreams, and it's like the reoccurring one that I had for like most of my life, and like those sets of dreams that I had about.
Yeah, me too, because I have a few reoccurring ones, which is like random.
Oh, actually, I could probably
Can
name
I
a few more.
can I ask? Because I've always wanted to know. Can you, like, when you have a dream, like,
Can I control it?
oh no, well,
Oh.
actually, yeah, that's a good question. Anyways, I
Yes.
love lucid dreaming. When people tell me they can't lucid dream, I'm like, you haven't lived. It's literally the best.
Oh, I had like a whole safe space in my dream. Like I had like a dreamland that I would go to every time I had a nightmare, because I had a lot of reoccurring nightmares as a kid, and it was like of this guy coming in from who'd come through a portal, and he was like a big executioner looking guy from like the Middle Ages, but like massive, like giant. And I was like, when these dreams started, I was probably 3 or 4. And what would happen is he would like walk out of this portal, and like everything would go dark, everything would get really spooky, and then like pretty much everything would turn to like lava, and we'd play a game of hide and seek. And it would be everyone in my family, so it would just be me, my brother, my mum, and my dad, and we would all go hide, and we just have to stay really, really quiet. And the guy would stomp around with his like axe, like swinging it, and walk around the whole house looking until he found someone. And then when he found someone, you had to make the decision whether you were going to stay there or whether you were going to go try and help the person. And we'd like always try and like help, but then it would just like always get bad. And so when it would get really, really scary, and like to the end where it was like real gruesome and shit, I would go, and I would just be like, I would go to my like dream place, and it was literally like this like pink pastel little land with like unicorns and fairies. Like I just made it look like I had like this fairy book when I was little, and I just made it look like my fairy book but with more unicorns.
Do you dream in color?
Yeah.
Mine's like color, but it's like not sepia, but it's like, you know, the like it's like a bluey gray. So there's colors, but they're faded.
Oh, mine are very vivid.
Really?
Yeah, my colors are very vibrant.
I would say my details are very vivid and like specific, but
no, usually
wow.
Usually in my dreams I have like really, really colorful dreams.
Oh my god, that sounds so nice.
Yeah.
I want colorful dreams.
Yeah, like I get really saturated colors. Have you watched America's Next Top Model? Like,
Which
so
season?
I don't even know. I'm like gotten into watching her do this photographer reacts to cringy blah 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 America's Next Top Model video, and some of the things that they do are just so wrong. Like one of this lady's high school friends just passed away the day before, and so then they took her to a grave site, put her in a grave, like literally had the models go down in the grave and take photos of themselves encompassing the 7 deadly sins. And then
did they make up that story after, or was that a legitimate story?
The girl was literally like having a mental breakdown the entire time.
And they were like, "Suck it up."
Yeah. And then they were like, then they gave her like photo of the day or whatever to make up for it when she wasn't like the best, but they just kind of had to.
Oh yeah.
And then they also did like a photo shoot where they made all of the models wear meat and like take photos in like a meat like warehouse, and then they also made.
I remember that episode actually.
Yeah, and then they did an episode with Kris Jenner, Kylie, and Kendall, and they were trying to do like an Addams Family thing, so they had Kylie and Kendall dress up as Wednesday Addams, and then Kris was the mum, and then they had like the models dress up as little kids, and they had to pretend to be toddlers. So like in some of the photos, Kris Jenner is like giving them a bottle of milk or spoon feeding them. Kris Jenner's obviously a Scorpio.
She is, you know. So is
Kendall.
Yeah.
Mm. But yes.
Yeah, so this hasn't really been that spooky, but I mean, I guess a little bit spooky. Weird
I guess
things.
a little.
Weird
Weird
More
things.
weird things.
But I guess it's kind of good that we didn't make it too spooky because Halloween's over.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's see
Scorpio
if I can get
season's
this.
not, though.
Yeah, exactly. We love Scorpio season. We can just, like, drag it out. Definitely go follow Killer Astrology. She's awesome. She's on to season 2 now, which is very exciting.
But if you that's if you want to know more about the astrology. If you want to listen to more of the gruesome ones, Rotten Mango is really, really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the one that I listen to. Or if you want to scare your friends, just look up Edward Gein.
Oh God.
On Images.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Do it. It'll be fun. You'll have a fun time.
Make sure there's no children around or anyone who's squeamish.
I just kept on sending photos of it to my mum until she told me to
stop.
Yeah, she told me to stop straight away, but I just kept on doing it.
How lovely. Anyways, we should wrap that up.
This wasn't really an astrology episode. It was more a therapy session.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We definitely weren't crying before we started filming this episode.
Yeah.
We've just got into the Aries moon, got out of the Pisces moon. So
we had to wait until after 6:45 today before we could film.
Yeah, because we're like, we don't want to be crying. We cried before anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, next week, well, hopefully next week, might be next month.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode about houses, and it'll be a lot more astrology based. We just wanted to have like a chill one, so then we can get stuff out
and let us know maybe like what type of episodes you guys prefer. Like if you like the more chatty chat, random
rambles
on tangents about random stuff, or if you like more structural astrology learning lessons, because I think most of the people who listen to this sort of like a side sprinkle of astrology, but probably mostly chit chat.
Well, I feel like if you listen to like an astrology podcast that goes over an hour or even like over half an hour,
you don't want it too dense with
if it's too dense, I can't grasp
literally
it. Yeah. But anyway, that's us projecting onto you what we think you should feel. So you shouldn't feel like that. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, see you next time.
And may the stars be forever in your favor.